The Galactic Council's war simulation chamber hummed with anticipation. Representatives from 12 species stood in the observation deck, their varied forms casting strange shadows under the bioluminescent panels. They had gathered to witness humanity's first official participation in the Council's legendary war games, a test that determined military credibility across the galaxy. Ash Chen stood at the central console, her fingers hovering over the holographic interface. The young human lieutenant had volunteered for this assignment, though she hadn't expected the weight of an entire species' reputation on her shoulders. Beside her, Otis Bradford adjusted his neural link, his jaw set with determination. "The parameters are simple," announced Zelthor, the Kryn War Master. His chitinous plates gleamed as he gestured toward the simulation sphere. "You will face a standard planetary invasion scenario, 3 enemy fleets, defensive positions on a resource-scarce world. Victory conditions: hold for 72 standard cycles." The other delegates murmured among themselves. The Valtorians clicked their mandibles, and what Ash had learned was amusement. The Sung delegation remained silent, but their crystalline bodies pulsed with colors that suggested skepticism. "Understood," Ash replied, her voice steady. She glanced at the simulation parameters scrolling across her display. Standard, they called it. The enemy forces outnumbered any reasonable defense by 4-1. Otis leaned closer, keeping his voice low. "They're expecting us to fail. Every species takes losses in this scenario. It's designed to measure how gracefully you lose." "Noted," Ash said. Then louder. "Before we begin, I have a question." Zelthor's multiple eyes focused on her. "Proceed. For the simulation data, do you want real footage or highlights?" Confused silence filled the chamber. The War Master's translator struggled, for a moment as if the question itself made no linguistic sense. "Clarify your query," Zelthor demanded. Ash's expression remained neutral, professional. "Human military history is extensive. We can provide actual combat footage from our archives, or we can curate a highlight reel. Which would be more useful? For your analysis?" A Valtorian delegate stepped forward, translator crackling. "You misunderstand. This is your combat. This simulation—" "Right, I understand the simulation," Ash interrupted politely. "I'm asking what supplementary data you'd like, to help you understand our approach." Otis pulled up a holographic display, and suddenly the observation deck filled with archived footage. Trench warfare from Earth's First World War, naval battles across Pacific expanses, desert campaigns, urban warfare, footage spanning thousands of years, hundreds of conflicts, millions of casualties. The delegates fell silent. "This is from one planet?" a Sung representative asked, their crystalline form flickering with disbelief. "One species?" "Just the highlights," Otis confirmed. "We've got about 12,000 years of organized warfare on record, more if you count pre-agricultural conflicts." "Impossible," Zelthor stated flatly. "No species survives that level of sustained conflict. You would have exterminated yourselves." Ash smiled thinly. "We came close several times. Shall we begin the simulation?" The war game commenced. The enemy fleets materialized in the simulation sphere, 3 distinct forces, standard Galactic Council compositions. Ash and Otis worked in synchronized silence, their commands flowing through the interface. What followed left the observers speechless. The humans didn't defend according to established doctrine. They didn't hold positions and trade fire efficiently. Instead, they fragmented their forces into dozens of smaller units, each operating with terrifying independence. They used guerrilla tactics, hit-and-run strikes, psychological warfare. They sacrificed drones to create false readings. They faked retreats to lure enemies into kill zones. Within the first simulated cycle, the human forces had inflicted disproportionate casualties while sustaining minimal losses. "This is irregular," Zelthor protested. "You're not following standard defensive protocols." "No," Ash agreed, not looking away from her display. "We're not." By the 24th cycle, one enemy fleet had been completely neutralized. The other 2 were in disarray, their command structures confused by the humans' refusal to fight properly. Otis pulled up another historical file. Hannibal at Cannae, Outnumbered 2-1, destroyed an army of 80,000 with only 6,000 losses. That was 216 BC, Earth Standard. Napoleon at Austerlitz, Ash added, executing a pincer movement in the simulation. Outnumbered, uphill battle, decisive victory. The footage continued displaying in the background. Stalingrad, Normandy, Incheon, battles where humans had faced impossible odds and somehow brutally prevailed. The simulation ended at the 48th cycle. All 3 enemy fleets destroyed. Human casualties, 18%. The defensive position held absolutely. The observation deck remained silent. Finally, Zelthor approached the console. Your species has been at war with itself for 12,000 years? Longer, Otis corrected. That's just recorded history. And you never stopped? Ash and Otis exchanged glances. We've had periods of relative peace, Ash said carefully. They never lasted? Then how? The War Master's voice carried something new, something that might have been fear. How are you not extinct? Because we're really good at it, Otis said simply. War, I mean. We've had a lot of practice. A Valtorian delegate's translator crackled to life. Your planet must be a wasteland. Your population decimated. 8 billion and counting, Ash replied. Earth's pretty nice, actually. We've got museums now where the battlefields used to be. The Sung representatives' crystalline form pulsed deep crimson, their color for existential dread. You're saying that humans wage war on this scale, survive, rebuild, and then do it again? Usually we change the reasons why, Otis offered. Keeps it fresh. Zelthor's chitinous plates clicked together in a gesture Ash had never seen before. Later, she would learn it was the Kryn expression of profound respect mixed with terror. The Council will need time to process this information, the War Master said formally. Lieutenant Chen, Specialist Bradford, humanity's military credibility is established. As the delegates filed out, Ash caught fragments of their conversations. The Valtorians were discussing quarantine protocols. The Sung were already calculating how to ensure humanity remained an ally. The Kryn delegation moved in formation, their military discipline barely concealing their unease. Otis shut down the console and stretched. Think we overdid it? Ash watched the last delegate leave, a small mantis-like being from a species she didn't recognize. It looked back at her, and she saw its genuine fear. Maybe next time we just show them the highlights, she said quietly. Outside in the council corridors, the galaxy's most powerful civilizations began the delicate process of reconsidering everything they thought they knew about warfare. They had invited humans to prove themselves in simulation. The humans had responded by revealing something far more terrifying. They didn't need to prove anything. They had 12,000 years of receipts and they were still here.